Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute, but before I start back with my regular videos, I want to show you what I've been working on while I was away. This is a special treat for you. It is Married to Nigeria, a podcast I created along with my good friend Tracy Ajayi. It is a relationship podcast for American women who are dating, thinking about dating, or even already married to Nigerian men. And so, without further ado, this is the episode where we bring our husbands on the show.
Thinking about what we've been through. The world can be a lonely place. Baby, I'm so glad that I found you. Now I got someone to embrace. From the day you stole my heart, I never ever want to be apart. Don't you feel the times are coming? 'Cause I feel it so strong. I've been on hold on, baby. Don't you feel the times are coming? When it feels so right to dance in the moonlight, baby, with you.
Welcome to Married to Nigeria, a weekly relationship podcast for American women dating or married to Nigerian men. I'm Tracy Blake Salami.
I'm Lakon Salami, Tracy's husband.
I'm Shantrese Ajayi.
I'm Foley Ajayi, Tracy's husband.
That's right. So our husbands are with us this week, and we're sure to hear some very exciting things from them. And we just wanted to bring them on the podcast so that you can hear straight from their mouths why they married American women and what they think of married life so far.
Yeah, a lot of my friends who are Nigerians love what you guys are doing. And some of my friends who are Americans, non-Nigerians, they also love it because they feel like they're learning, from you guys, to be Nigerian wives. So I guess maybe some of them who are probably dating Nigerians or interested in dating Nigerians, they're learning from you guys. And I think they're learning a lot of the good aspect and the negative aspect of Nigerians. Nigerians have a lot of bad reputations.
Every culture has
Yeah.
bad reputation, so we try not to just limit it to Nigerians because you
Exactly.
can't just pinpoint one culture or one person and say, hey, you made this bad for everyone. So
Exactly, I agree with you.
do any one of your friends give you guys like bad feedback, like we're exposing too much? Or do you guys think we're
I
exposing too much?
I personally thought when you guys, just started, I personally thought that you were putting too much of our business outside, too much my business, outside because I'm a private person, so at first I thought I was going to sue you guys. And then I thought about it that, wait a minute, they could make money from it, so don't let me sue them yet, so let me wait for the lawsuit. When the money starts coming in, then I can file a lawsuit and then be part of, whatever money that you guys make.
In my own part, I don't think they put in too much information out. Why? Though some of the things that I was hearing, kind of like, oh my God, I don't know she's going to say this. But in as much they are truth, I don't have anything because it's for people to learn and to educate others. And since what they are saying is true, I think I'm okay with that. And Lakon, don't let us sue them. Because even if they hit it, their money is our money. Though they say their money is their money, but that's okay.
Yeah, on a serious note, I think you guys are doing an amazing job. Like a lot of people, have said, and I think I'm in support of it too. Initially I was kind of, I was doubtful, as to maybe I want my wife to do that or not. But then, later when you guys started, I started realizing some things, and I feel like, I think I should support her because you are actually repairing the image of Nigeria, as against what a lot of people think about us. You understand?
Yeah.
So, and I think you guys
we are the nicest people to marry to.
You need a lot of support from your husbands.
We've heard from people that, if Nigerian men had a choice, they wouldn't marry American. They would want to marry Nigerian. So how did you guys come to even, accept the idea of marrying an American woman?
That's a good one. That's the perception people have about Nigerian guys. And in the time I've been in this country is close to 2 decades now, almost 2 decades. I've seen guys that are very close to me. I have a friend in Atlanta right now that we used to be in Minnesota before, and I have a friend in Minnesota. And along the line, their life proved to me and to people around that they married to American is not because of anything but love, genuine love. And I'm in the same situation too. And Lekan and I went to the same college. I know Lekan very well. And when Lekan get to this country, we've been talking. And even before he met Tracy, we talk a lot. And this is another person too. So in my own part, I know of 3 that I can remember right now that marrying to America is not because of anything, but because of genuine love. Because in this life, even back in Nigeria too, we know a lot of people from the north married to somebody from the south or from the east. Marriage you can marry anybody from anywhere. It's about love. So it's not like being there because of some certain benefit is coming from it. Yeah, and I've seen people that are married to American too, that nothing like that coming up from it. Among those people that I just mentioned. So sometimes it's not about that, it's about genuine love.
I think for me it's about, where I was as when I met my wife. It's the location. I mean, a lot of people will agree with me that, if let's say you live in Korea, and you are about the age to get married, you are most likely probably going to get married to a Korean if you don't like mingle with a lot of, your own people, like Nigerians. You understand? So sometimes where you find yourself also, plays a role in, who you marry
at that time.
So when when it was time for me to get married, I was already living in the US. A lot of my co-workers, were Americans. A lot of my friends were Americans. Most of the parties that I went to were American parties. I rarely mingle with Nigerians, so on a day-to-day basis, I mingle with Americans, more than, I mingle with Nigerians, so that kind of influenced, the people that I relate with and, who I eventually got married to. So I actually met my wife at a party, the friends 40th birthday party. So it's about, for me, it's about the location. I don't really look at, nationality, where you come from. I look at the person. If I like you and I feel like we have, we are homogeneous in some type of way, we have some things in common, we share some beliefs. So it doesn't matter where you come from to me.
Did anyone try to warn you before you walk down the aisle?
Oh yeah, that happened to me. Some people were saying it behind me, and there's a guy that have that God that talked to me about it, like, why are you going to marry African American? Why can't you come to our church? Because I'm the kind of person, I don't go out. I always be to myself. I have an older brother that we together in Minnesota at that time, and they are very supportive even from day one. But this dude just like, why are you going to marry someone like her? Blah, blah. Do you guys believe till today I shut the door of my house for that guy? I have never stepped into my house because I believe in one thing: you don't tell a man who to marry and who not to marry. that's something you don't tell a guy. It's not like you're going to be the one that will live with that person. It's me. And you don't have that right or that audacity to tell me not to marry that person. You don't know this person yourself. So who are you to tell me not to marry that person because of he or she is not Nigerian? That shouldn't be the situation. Anybody should be able to marry whoever they want to marry, no matter the nationality or their background.
Yeah, I think I agree with what Foley said. It's a lot of preconceived notion about African Americans, Americans in general, even white Americans, Black Americans, from the immigrant perspective. A lot of people think that culturally we're not the same people. We don't, we're always not on the same page as to even when they're married. When they want to do things together, it's always a struggle to get your spouse on the same page as you. Our spending habit is different. I'm saying this now. I mean, some of the troubles that I go through in my marriage is spending. With my wife. I think sometimes my wife shops on impulse. Like she does a lot of impulse shopping. But as Africans, we very mindful of how we spend money.
Y'all are cheap.
No, we are not. We calculate.
We are very, very frugal.
We like to manage money.
So these are some of the struggles that non-Americans go through when they're married to Americans, and some of us have that idea. I remember a friend asking me sometime, we were riding together, and then he asked me that, wait a minute, so you married to an American? I said, yes. He said, so are you telling me that, so you're eating, so how do you eat? So at first I didn't understand where he was driving at. So I said, what is your point? He said, so you eat all those American food now. You don't eat our food anymore. How do you survive? And I said, look, you don't judge, the worth of a man or the life of a man by, how well he eats or, the type of food that he eats. As long as the food is good, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Yeah. And, how much time do I really spend, eating food? If I want any food, food is not actually, it's not a barrier. Yeah, it's not a problem for me. It's not one of the things that I'm thinking, choose a wife.
It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not food. What I'm considering.
What about you?
I mean, like I said, I've been in this country for a while, and I eat anything. The only thing I don't eat is something that's going to hurt my stomach or that is not going down well with me. But so far, so good. Even for me, going to Louisiana is about food. Anytime I be on that plane, all my mind is thinking about the food down there. Those turkey neck, the jambalaya, the gumbos, all those things always come to my mind. I must be honest.
In New Orleans,
I must be honest. Even if I started mentioning restaurants now, it's like I'm making adverts.
So let's ask them questions too. So what do you guys as African Americans, what are some of the stories that you heard about, African Americans getting married to Nigerian men? And what were the things that some of your friends or family said to you when you chose to, marry us? Like when you guys wanted to marry us?
I think we talked about it a little bit on the show, right?
On the show, yeah. Like my mom, when I told her, she was like, "You marrying an African? Or don't bring an African home," because my cousin had married Nigerian. But then she was like, "I don't care who you bring home, just as long as you're happy and he treats you right." Like, I want to say when we first got engaged, my cousin called and kind of set the tone for Foley in our relationship. It was like, whatever you do, keep your hands to yourself. Because it's like, for us, like you always hear, African men beat their women. I've never witnessed that. I have witnessed some verbal abuse, and that was about it.
I don't think
Not from you. Not from you.
I don't
Like
think, I don't
in like
think
my
African-
friends' relationships with Nigerian men.
I don't think
Let me
African
clarify
men,
that.
that's not correct. I don't think African men beat their wives. American men beat
All
their
men
wives.
beat their wives.
Yeah, African men don't beat their wives.
Right, but that's the notion. Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I
All
think
men.
it's general.
So she told them, she was like, keep
So
your hands to
for
yourself.
listeners, African men are the best husbands. I'm telling you, African men are the best
they take care
husbands.
of their wife, they spoil them.
If you get married to an African man, he will be there for the rest of your life.
But it
He
has
will
to be the right
African man.
Yeah.
Because not all the African
True,
men that
true.
hit women up on Facebook, Instagram,
That's
all in the DMs, none of them, I don't want to say none of them, but all of them are not authentic.
You're
and
right.
that's what
True.
a lot
That's
of people write to us about. That's what we talk about, unfortunately, a lot because it's rampant. It happens every day that someone leaves a message somewhere on social media for us saying, I'm dating this person, I'm not sure, or I'm afraid. And it's real. When we were dating, Lakeland and I, everybody was cool. But when they saw the proposal on Facebook, when I tell you, people I hadn't heard from in years, old boyfriends, you know how it goes when you get engaged.
Yeah.
Like people come from out of the woodworks. But it wasn't just that the shock of the marriage or the proposal. It was he's African.
Yep.
Like like you and some people they didn't say it, but they wanted to say, are you sure? Can't you do better than that? Like why you had to go marry African? And I'm thinking about one guy in particular down in Atlanta that I dated for a while. He was just taken aback. He wanted me to just like stop the show and just wait a minute because I didn't know you was about to do that. That's one of those you snooze, you lose situations. Like you had all the time in the world. You've known me since I was 18, but you never proposed. So now that someone has, and he just so happens to be African, you're just so concerned. So I think that for me, it wasn't so much of my family because my family is actually pretty mixed. Yeah.
Hello, audience. My wife is confessing.
Confessing what?
She's telling me everything that all the calls she got.
No. Actually, no. I'm going to tell you. After I go back through my Facebook and look around the time you proposed, I even posted on Facebook. I said it's amazing how once you get that proposal, people you haven't heard from in years come from out of the woodworks, and that's on Facebook because I wanted to put them on notice that you out of pocket, like you are really disrespectful at this point to be coming at me like that. And saying
well,
these things.
You're right. You see, I think it's both ways too. As African men, I still have some of my friends who think that, in spite of the fact that I have, I'm married and I have two kids, they're still thinking in their mind that okay, maybe someday you're still gonna marry somebody who is, like from home. They still consider you not to be married.
Well, how many children does it take? Like 3, 4?
I think to them, it doesn't matter. You could even have all the children in the world. They still think that once you're not married to a Nigerian or someone from your culture, you're still like half married. But I mean, if there's any word like that,
and I can guarantee you this: if your husband goes home without you and the kids, his friends will try to have women lined up for him. I'm going to tell y'all that. So, ladies, if your man goes home without you guys, please be aware. His friends will have women lined up for them.
But then.
But you have to have faith and trust in your man.
Yes,
like, you have to know your man.
To me, I would not really want to really put this like the way she just did. Why? I've been to Nigeria without my wife or before her. And a similar situation happened to me. But I didn't fall for it. The way I look at it,
but it happened.
It happened.
Okay,
I'm
not saying that they will
fall
into the trap.
Because in the way that some people will be thinking like, I won't let you go to Nigeria unless I go with you. And in the situation whereby the wife doesn't have that opportunity to leave work or to leave the kids and follow the husband, or they don't have that kind of money for all of them to go on that trip. I don't want us to insert something in their brain like, don't let him go by himself. No, he can go by himself, but it depends on the kind of man that you marry. If it's somebody that has the fear of God and he knows whatever he's doing down there, there's someone that is looking at him, he will not fall for that kind of. It happened to me, and I told my wife right away. And people now, if I go there now, they know who I am, and they will not try that kind of thing with me anymore.
I think women will try because when men go home, they understand that they've reached, as I hear people say in Pigeon, levels. You know, your levels have changed, and it's something that a lot of women they're just desperate to get out of some situation. Not every woman, but a lot of them, a majority. There's some young professionals out there living their life. They don't have to come to America, but let's be real. A lot of them want to go abroad or be dating someone who's abroad. So they will try. They will try you. Yeah. And you know, when you go home, people always say you look fresh.
Fresh, yeah.
True.
I don't need you to be looking at my husband.
Yeah.
He's not fresh.
And what annoys me the most is they'll see your husband and you together, and they will ignore you. And like flirt with your husband in front of your face. Like, baby, I will slap you.
Like, you know, one thing I noticed, and I know I need to fix this. Like, when I go to certain places, especially like Nigerian parties, I am a little self-conscious about being around other Nigerian women, not knowing the language and not knowing what they're saying. So I walk around with a unit on my face, like. As we would say in Ebonics, I wish a nigga would.
Right.
I wish you would. I wish you would. There was one girl that called my husband because she's African. I guess she wanted to call him on some holiday. I said, what holiday was it, babe? Was it New Year? She was saying Happy New Year. I say, did she know you're married? What's she calling you to say Happy New Year for? You guys don't work together anymore. You're not really friends. Well, why are you wishing him a happy 2019? He has a wife to do that for him. I know that sounds like real crazy, but you really have no reason to be calling my husband at all.
Right. And for a long time, going to Nigerian parties, I wouldn't smile, I wouldn't talk to anyone. But until I started picking up on certain words so where I can understand if they're talking about me, then I started interacting with them more. But before, like, don't look at me, don't talk to me, don't look at my husband.
My wife know when we speak Yoruba to some certain length. She will pick words and she will understand what we are saying.
All I know is Iyawo. I hear y'all.
Tracy knows. Because one thing about we Nigerian guys is we can't speak our Yoruba language or our Igbo language without mixing it with English. So when we started throwing English into it, or Pidgin, and my wife understand Pidgin, she will know what we are talking about. So she never raised any concern about we speaking our language. But if we are talking about someone or talking about politics, about or anything that have to, by the time we are going on, she will just telling me this is what I was like, wow. So I get to understand that she picked some Yoruba words and with English mixing together with it, if we had one or two, she will know everything we are talking about. I've seen that many times. So that I know, and I know what to say and know what not to say when she's around.
There was a time just after we got married that we went to an event where my husband saw someone that he was dating before he proposed, like before we got serious, and he proposed, and it was awkward. Awkward because he believed that she missed an opportunity, or that she was sleeping and he found somebody else and got married, and maybe she felt like she lost out. And he used this phrase. What he said, what did you say, babe? I think he said something to the effect of she realized it could have been her. And we were in premarital counseling when this happened. I said, I was talking to the pastor, it couldn't have been her. Like, it wasn't, if this marriage is meant to be, she wasn't meant to be in the picture at all. So, no, it couldn't have been her. So she may have been thinking, she missed out, but no, baby, it could have never been you. If this is God ordained, If our marriage is what it's supposed to be in the eyes of God, she didn't have a chance.
Right. Yeah. True.
So if she didn't take some opportunity, it's because she wasn't supposed to.
True.
So that's her loss. But don't go hopping around parties, looking, seeing what I'm wearing. Even people added me on Instagram who I know go to that church, who maintains the social media accounts. And Lakem was like, why you want to add them? I said, they can check me. Yeah, look at all our pictures. Do whatever you want to do. It's not going to change the situation. Nosy. Yeah.
So I remember a sister of mine, not my sister actually, like, an extended family, who was trying to, hook me up with some lady, who is from Africa. And she wanted me to marry this lady. And then I'd, met my wife. And, so I told this sister that, I'm already seeing someone and I think I really like her. And, she was disappointed to, to know that, the someone that I was talking about is African. and then she said, oh, so are you saying you want to marry Akata? So
that word, guys.
So I said, so sister, what is wrong with marrying an Akata? So, and then she started telling me everything that is wrong with marrying an Akata. They don't believe in marriage. They don't stay with husbands. They, they're promiscuous. A lot of,
So Nigerian women are promiscuous?
Negative things to say about, Akata. So then I started asking her that, Aunt, you are telling me that Akata don't stay married. But you are not married. You are Nigerian, and your husband is Nigerian. But you guys are divorced. So marriage. I mean, being divorced has nothing to do with where you come from. It happens everywhere. All over the world. Marriages get broken. People get divorced everywhere. It doesn't matter. I think what matters is being able to, find a good wife or a good husband, and, find someone that, you believe that loves you and you can spend the rest of your life with. It's irrelevant where the person comes from, whether he or she is your culture or from your nationality. So that's irrelevant to me. So I told her I was going ahead and, I was going ahead with this to marry this lady, and I'm sure she was not happy with that, so she didn't attend my wedding. And she's been like sneaking on social media to see, if we're still married. And I remember I went to, an African party recently, and I saw, one of the ladies who attended my wedding, and she was, surprised not to see my wife with me at the party because my wife had just given birth. So she didn't know that my wife had a baby, but she saw me alone. She was looking for ways to ask me questions. She asked me the first time when she ran into me in the party. I think, I don't know, maybe I just, probably didn't respond to her. And then she made sure that before I left the party that she got the gist that, where is your wife? Why is your wife not here? Because I'm sure she was thinking that maybe
you were divorced already.
Yeah, maybe I'm divorced or something, because they're always thinking, they're always waiting. I'm telling you, they're always waiting that, something will go, wrong or go bad, and then they can, seize that opportunity and, have you. So I told her that, she just had a baby. That's why she's not here. And she was shocked. So she said, okay, congratulations. So is it a boy or a girl? I said, a boy.
And she knew that was the second child.
Yeah.
Right.
But to me, someone like that, you should find a way to introduce this kind of podcast to her, so she can learn more about.
If only you want to give her a high blood pressure.
She can die for all I care. because people are ignorant, and it's good we try our best to get them from out of that ignorance. Because telling people or using that kind of word on someone's wife is very inappropriate. Because to me, the word Akata is not a good word. And I remember way back in 2004 or 5 when we went to one of my my brother's first child in Dallas. I remember very well. And me and one of my brother's friends were talking about my wife, just like a joke, and we covered that name. And I remember very well my brother's wife's mom kind of like mad. And I mean, she was so mad. The old woman was like, never again. We use that kind of word on her. That can't we see she's a human being? And why are we referring to her as such kind of animal? That should be something anybody say about her that I should be able to fight. And since that year, I will never forget, that was 2005, January 2005. I've never used that word on my wife, unless we are just joking. If I say Akata, she will say Naija boy, and all those kind, just for a joke. So for that kind of person, I think she need to know about the podcast so she can be educated.
My thing is, they're always bad talking African American women, but yet they get here and try to emulate us, and they do 10 times worse than what they accuse us of doing. They
Like, give
treat
us
their
an example.
husbands like crap. Like, they want to be the man of the household. They want to dictate everything that happens in the marriage. And then when things go downhill and they push their husband into the arms of an African American, then they start hating us even more.
I remember when we were either in premarital counseling or it was just after our wedding. My husband kept referring to our initial marital issues, especially like the real routine things that everyone goes through when they first get married and you're trying to get adjusted to living in the same house, which I know y'all's situation was a little different, but we really didn't live together before our wedding.
Okay.
We did for like a short period of time, but not very long for him to really know my ways, all my weaknesses and faults and stuff. And so he was thinking that only if I had married Nigerian. And the pastor told him that that's a weak excuse. Because sometimes you would think that your own wouldn't do certain things, but it's not necessarily true. And our pastor was from Zimbabwe. And so he had been in America long enough to see the ins and outs and date and all that sort of thing. And he said sometimes when African men stay away or try to veer away from American women and they go to an African woman, it's sometimes worse because she's been here for X number of years or she was raised here and your expectations are completely different from what you get. So you're expecting your true, authentic Niger woman, and then you get with her and realize she's really more American than Nigerian. And some of the stuff that I thought I was going to get by marrying her, I'm not going to get. So if that is the basis for you going into a marriage, you're going to be full of surprises and you may even be, a little upset.
True.
So...
Any other question? Because another thing I want to share too is this: when people get married, the way I look at it is kind of a little bit different. Either you marry to a Nigerian woman or you marry to African American woman or Asian or Indian. I look at it this way, like if the person you marry to is a good person, is someone that God has sent to you and you are able to get connected together, I look at it that you have received favor from God, a favor. And I can say of myself and those my friends that I know and Lacan as well, that we obtain favor from God. Because from the onset, the first marriage that God had for a woman in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, it was God that gave Eve to Adam. And though there was there's a big mistake that happened between the two by doing what God asked them to do. And the man at that time, the Adam, was blaming God that I would have not done this if not for the woman that you gave me. And from that onset, God gave a man the choice to choose whoever he want to marry to. And since that day, We have been chosen by ourselves. And my point here is every man that have the opportunity to choose right is a favor from God. And it's not like because you are so special or you are so good than other men, but it's a favor from God. And that is what we have been a benefit of till today. And please, if you are dating any African American there, take good care of her. Not all of them are bad, but if you are fortunate to have one that are good, those good ones, take care of them.
Yeah,
even if you are married to a Nigerian woman too.
African American women too, they need to cherish their husband.
Yeah.
They need to treat their husband right.
Yeah.
You know, they need to, you know, a lot of times come, you know, on the same page, you know, as their husband. You know, so it's vice versa.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's switch gears for a minute. We've been talking a lot about like our marriage and our initial issues, but there are women out there who are dating or trying to date Nigerian men, and it's not as easy as they thought because of the naysayers and because of them just really not knowing the culture and knowing whether or not the relationship is authentic. Can you give us some examples of red flags that are just blatant that any woman who's marrying or thinking of marrying or dating a Nigerian man should know that, okay, if this is happening, you're definitely or more than likely getting scammed?
Yeah. If you are dating a Nigerian or even any man, it might not be a Nigerian man, any man, and the person all he's requiring from you is your money. Send me money, can you do this for me? And it's about that. That's a red flag. And if you just start a relationship and the person is like rushing you to get married, like at least you have to have this kind of relationship. You have to court for a certain time before you can get developed into getting married. If that doesn't happen and all you just say is sending you money, let's get married right away, that's a flag.
Fully, that may not be true. You know,
Are you not going to know somebody you want to marry before you marry the person?
That may not be true, because when I met my wife,
yeah,
you know, I was already ready to be married.
But you find time to know her.
Yeah, I mean, I spent time, but she thought that I was moving at a pace that, you know, was too fast for her.
No, you're not.
You understand? So
she might think so, but you're not moving it fast.
We had a long engagement.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know when you guys are dating.
So you can date and he could propose.
Yeah.
But he could do all this stuff very quickly. But I made it my business to take our time during the engagement, because I was not going to rush and get married right away. We were engaged for what, 13 months? 13 months.
We know a guy in Minnesota. Sorry to say Minnesota, that they only dated for barely 2-3 weeks.
Oh no.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
And she was so blindfolded, she doesn't see anything wrong in that. And whenever they go out, he always like down talk her like as if she's not good enough for him. And she still go ahead and marry this person within few weeks, not even up to a month.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah, that's an extreme.
That's what I'm saying. So that's kind of that's a red flag right there.
What if the person is abroad? Like, what if the guy is in Nigeria and the woman is here in the U.S.? They've been talking online. They've been doing the video chat. Like, how do they, maneuver through that situation to see whether it's authentic and whether they should move forward with a marriage or a K-1 visa?
Oh, I would say do your research very well. Wherever you are before you go into that. Do your research. Do your background research very well. It might not mean no harm. It might be a genuine love. Exactly. But as a lady, do your background research very well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like do some fact checkings. Yeah. What I talked about last night. Your cousin who met this guy on some dating site or social media, and she reached out to me, about the guy because she knows that I'm from Nigeria and this guy is Nigerian. Mm-hmm. And she wanted me to, just fact check some of the stories that the guy has been telling her, and the guy, claimed to be working, for a bank that gives widows loan. So I, did my research and then found out that the guy was lying. So that's some of the ways that you can, like do your own background checks about the guy.
What were your first impressions of? We're just gonna go very general for a minute. What were your first impressions of the dating scene in the U.S. when you first got here? Like when you were looking for women, what were some of the most things that you just found undesirable that kind of threw you off or made you say, I have to rethink this? Because there are some women who are trying to date and they may not realize that some of the things they're doing is just not okay.
So how was your dating life before you met me?
My dating life?
Yeah.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Right.
My dating life was horrible though. I was at the time I was staying with my older brother, and I will leave on Friday evening with my friends, and we hang out with girls, some part of another, other city of the Minnesota, and I won't come back home until like Sunday evening. And nothing. I was not serious at that time. All I was having is thinking in my head I was having fun because I was a single guy. Just get to America not too long. I just want to experience America. So my dating life at that time, none of them was serious, not even one, because my mind was like, okay, I want to date you. Let's go have fun, and from there, nothing happened. We move on. So until I met my ordained wife, then actually too, I was thinking like we're going to be like the same. But when I started to know her, like, oh my God, this is a different person, and I begin to develop that interest in her. But she was because the first time I told her I love her, and she was like, "You don't even know me." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know you be that." Because where I come from, it's love at first sight. So she was kind of like, "No, you don't." So we started like a friend, and we get developed to relationship, and we get married. I think after some years.
For me, I think I had a new experience, dating, dating in America, like a Western country, so to say. Because where I come from in Nigeria, when you take a woman out on a date, you pay all the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I learned, I had a different experience in America, when I started dating, because when you go out on a date with a woman, sometimes not all the girls that I went out on date with that did that, but a few of them will offer to pay part of the bills, or pay their own share of the bill, so. But eventually I would tell them no. I would have to be the one to pay the bills. But it was something that I was impressed about.
So none of the American women kind of threw you off and said, "Oh, I definitely can't. This is not marriage material."
No, I didn't have that experience. Actually, I'm a good-looking guy, so I know that I'm a marriage material.
But wait a minute. Let me put you on blast then. Since you have amnesia, there was one girl who used to call your phone, and I think you were trying to avoid her. Like, I don't know what happened with the relationship, but you were dodging her, and she didn't know that you had gotten with someone else. And I think at that time we were engaged, and she called, and you were like ignoring her calls all day. And so to get her to stop calling, I said, "Let me answer the phone." You was like, no, you're going to make it worse. But I just wanted to have fun. So I answered the phone, and she was thrown off. I was like, "Hello." Very pleasant. It was late at night, and she's calling. I said, "Hello." And she just kind of paused for a minute. And then instead of hanging up or something, she continued to ask for my husband. I said, "He's not available right now." And she was like, "Well, can you let him know, blah, blah, blah." I said, "I'm his wife." and she just went berserk.
What?
When I tell you she went berserk, you know, some women, they have pride. They have self-respect. They will hang up the phone and say, okay, I'm blocking that number.
Yeah.
This lady was so bold to send videos, pictures, text messages, calling, leaving voicemail after voicemail after voicemail. Like, I know he didn't get married. He said he wanted this. He said he wanted that. She said some really vulgar stuff too that I can't even repeat on this podcast. But this lady was crazy. I don't know how you dated her. Insane. What? American girl. I was embarrassed for my own people. Like, oh my gosh. And after that night, she didn't stop. Some days later, she was still calling.
She was still bombarding me with text messages months after.
Yes.
Asking. But, I mean, I wouldn't naturally do that to any woman. I wouldn't let you pick my calls, speak to any of my girlfriends, you know, because we weren't married then. I just met you.
No, you had proposed. And so I was already saying that he was my husband.
Right. Yeah, but, I mean, you know, picked up my call and then you started talking to this lady, even though I told you not to.
But I thought that it would stop her from calling because she was calling so much. Yeah. If I was dating somebody and we kind of fizzled out, and I said, let me just call to see what he's up to, and I hear a girl pick up the phone. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I know he moved on.
I'm not. How can you force yourself on someone when a woman is answering and saying, "This is my husband"?
Because she wants Mr. Wonderful.
Ladies, guys, let that marinate.
We never have that experience because I remember, I think my first or second trip to Nigeria with my wife, one of my ex was in the program or in an event
at the church.
She ran away.
She was supposed to be Foley's wife.
Not my wife.
She was supposed to be Foley's wife. This lady had it in her mind that Foley was coming back home to marry her.
I never proposed to anybody.
But that was your girlfriend before you
left. Yeah, it's just a girlfriend. Right. I never
in her mind, my boyfriend is abroad. He's coming back to marry me.
Oh.
And I try and I break up with her even before I met my wife. But she don't want to understand that. But when she sees us in the event, she can't even take it. She left. But today doesn't.
She didn't even sit in church.
She didn't even stay in the church. It's an event.
No,
it's an event at UI, at University of Ibadan.
No, that was the second time we saw her. The first time you talked.
Yeah.
The first time was at church.
Oh yeah. You're right. So she was unable to even.
She couldn't worship.
She can't worship. She have to just leave. So I don't know if like Tracy just said, if a woman answered that kind of call, I think that should be like the end of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's enough to say.
Because she's trying to like put a hand to it so that she will not be bothering you anymore.
She wasn't ready.
But this lady was crazy.
She wasn't ready to let
go. Ammunition.
She's the typical example of African American.
No, that's not typical.
Yeah, that's not typical. No, that's the ones that the Nigerian men go after. Let me tell you this. This is what I've learned. This is what I've witnessed. They go into the hoods and find these women. They want to pay them $20 to sleep with them. So then they want to say, oh, all African Americans are easy to sleep with. So that's how they address us. That's how they approach us. It's like too many situations I've witnessed of these men coming in. Oh, I've seen all these African American women on movies and they're easy to sleep with. They're this, they're that. Like, no, we're not what you see on movies. What y'all say?
You're right.
You guys are mumbling.
You're right. You guys are right.
So it's like it depends on what area of town and where you're going at to look for these African American women. You get what you look for. Whatever you're searching for, that's what you're going to get. You can't say you're looking for quality and you're going to low income. I'm not saying that everybody in low income housing or don't have morals and things, but majority of them are like just looking for the next fix. Give them a blunt and you can sleep with them.
Or those are the type of women I think immigrants go after because they feel like they can get their papers.
Get their papers quicker.
And
like,
so,
let me pay her a little money.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get what I need.
And I personally know someone who that backfired on. He just chose the wrong person because her numbers weren't right. She had some background issues as well, and she didn't disclose that to him until they sitting in the immigration interview, and then everything blows up. So, I mean, it can really backfire. So, ladies, if you're out there and you're trying to date African men, if a woman answers the phone, just hang up. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that to women, but some women really just, they don't know when to stop.
And if an African man have too many aunties and sisters, start questioning that.
But I mean, it's all about, I just hope God help our African American sister.
African American men too, with all these sisters. Mm-hmm. You don't trust that?
No. I mean, I have one experience too that Tracy will remember now. This man is here, and he married to a woman in Nigeria before he came to US, and they have kids. And getting here, he married to another African American woman with kids. But anytime the woman in Nigeria called him here, he referred to her as his sister. And the woman here too believe that is her own sister-in-law. I'm not kidding. Wow. To the extent they went to Nigeria together
and lived in a house.
And live in the house. And she is believing that is her own sister-in-law. And to the extent that I have two brothers in this part of the world, and we kind of like literally cut ourselves out of that man's life because we are not raised like that. And that kind of thing, I don't know how that man is able to manage it. I don't know if he's still managing it today, or maybe the cover have been busted. I don't know. But that's that kind of thing, like when you have a man and there is this sister, so-called sister, and she called every day. To me, that is another red flag. Because even in Nigeria, if you have a real sister, I don't think your real sister will be calling you every day. Every day. And the kids that she is raising is your kid that your wife left for you. That's what he told the African American woman. But that is the case of that woman herself that she had for this guy. So a lot of things that I don't know how to put it, that it will give any African American woman a red flag to know. And sometimes if you do your background check very well, you will know all these things without anybody telling you. And because some are being genuine, some men are being genuine. Not all of them are like what I just mentioned.
Right. And if you see flags, like, please take heed to it. Like, don't just say, oh, it just happened one time, it won't happen again. Because he got caught that one time, he's going to be extra careful for you not to see that same situation occur again. So, Lakon, when you first met Tracy's family, what were your thoughts?
It was a bunch of women.
It was a bunch of women.
So when I met Tracy's family, it was a bunch of women, and I started wondering, like, where are all the men? Does it mean that there's no man in this family? So, but later, I think I started getting answers to my thoughts, my questions.
So basically, in my family, my grandmother, who's the matriarch of the family, had 7 children, 5 girls, 2 boys.
Oh.
And the men, both of them are married. They have their own families, and for most family functions, they go to their wife's family's house. So usually when Lakon comes around, he's only seeing, the women. And he's like, well, first of all, we're just female dominated anyway. There's more girls or women in my family than men. And then the men have their own lives. And the young boys, they don't want to come to family functions. But in general, there is like this sort of absence of men, and at least in my family.
What about you, Foley? What were your thoughts when you first came to Louisiana?
Oh, well, my first experience when I first came to Louisiana is about. I mean, my own situation was kind of a little bit different from Lake home because there are some men in our family. They are not as much as women, though, but there are still some men that are there. And the way they welcomed me was so good. I will never forget because I have like an uncle of mine that we live together in Minnesota that already told me that was married from that family before. So he gave me like some kind of idea of what to expect. And when I get there, I met these people. And one thing I noticed about them is, I don't mean no harm, they want me to drink. And I'm the kind of person, I don't drink, but they just want me to drink. And I think to them it's a kind of like fellowship to have that kind of, or like I'm being welcome. So I have to just like drink with them just in a little way. And every time I go there, they always welcome me and they want me to drink with them. Especially I mean, our two uncles, they are now late. They want me to, every time they see me, nephew, let's drink. Nephew, let's drink. So I always like, okay, I will give them that honor. And some of our cousins too is the same thing. And they want me to just drink, and I hang out with them a lot. Even sometimes when I get there, we stay with one of our friend is a guy, and the wife too is a friend of my wife. We always stay with them, and most of the time the girls will go do their own thing, and me and this guy and the other guy that is like a brother to my wife, we go about doing our own all day. I always feel like being home because the hospitality is not, I don't know how to compare it, is the best. Yeah.
So do you think the families have culture? You guys?
Yes, they do. I mean,
Yes.
there are some things that I saw when I was there that it threw me off. Like the way I mean, like in Louisiana, where my wife came from, they won't let you go back to your where you came from without doing laundry of your clothes. They believe that you can't come there with a dirty clothes and live with dirty clothes. So my mother-in-law always do our laundry, and I don't know how she do it. She will fold our clothes like, I don't know, like a
Military
style, and everything will be like intact. Like a day before, I mean, like let's say we are leaving tomorrow now, like that evening, she will do all our laundries. And every time we are there in the morning, they'll be asking me what I want for dinner. And in dinner time, they'll be asking, what do you want for breakfast? Then I'll be like, why can't we wait till tomorrow first and figure that out? So they are so cultured, and I've seen a lot of similarity about the way they do things compared to where my parent, let me say my parent, where my own parent came from in Nigeria, in Ekiti. So I would say they are very well cultured, and a lot of similarity with them and the Yorubas from Nigeria.
Lakon, did you see some African traits in Tracy's family? Some characteristics?
I saw a lot of African traits in Tracy's grandmother. You know, this old lady, she's more or less African to me. I don't think she's American.
You're right.
Yeah.
She's not.
Very traditional woman, you know. Our cooking is very traditional, you know. And the house reminded me of my grandmother's house.
Neat.
Everyone always went to grandma's.
Everyone.
That's how it was?
And there's
Yeah.
always somebody there. She's never alone. There's always too many people in the house.
There's something I experienced too in Louisiana. They
That's
never lock their door. The door is always, and the way people come in and go out, they don't even give themselves a phone call like the way we do in Minnesota. Like, oh, are you home? Will you be home tomorrow? I want to come and visit you next week. They don't have that. No. They just come in, and one thing I noticed that is everyone that come into the house, we eat.
Yes.
That is like, and one thing about me is I always, when I see something, I will call my brother because me and my brother, we have this kind of forum. I will be putting this is what I'm expressing here. This is, I mean, I can't believe it. Everybody that come to that house, they will eat. And they will go out. Some people else will come. There's no time you will not see somebody in that house, in a grandma's house. So that even when I go there, I always, that kind of like give me joy. And they don't want us to go out. If we say we are going to the city, that we go to New Orleans, what are you guys going to do? It's not down the road or something. Up the road. They don't want us to go nowhere. Then I'll be like, so we're gonna be sitting down here looking at each other's face, talking. We need to go out. But they don't want, and if we are going, they will ask us, you guys better come back because the ferry will stop at this time. So at this time,
you guys have to be careful.
Oh, you guys take ferry?
Yeah, we take ferry. And let's say we plan to go out and we change our mind. Oh my God, they will be so happy. And what they want to do at that time is they want to start boiling all this turkey neck and I like food a lot. So me too, I'll be like, baby, let's just stay. And we can be there, dress up, and we'll be in that house all day. And I remember there's a time one of my friends was like telling me like, Foley, why do you go to your in-laws every Christmas? And I was like, I was mad, to be honest with you guys. I was mad because I don't expect that from anybody because I believe that is my family too. I'm married to that family. I've been part of that family. My wife been to Nigeria too, like 3 times or so. She never see my family as like, that's not, she see them as our family. She have a very good relationship with my brothers and my sister. And everybody in my family know my wife. And for someone to tell me, because me too, I have a sister. And I remember very well back then in Nigeria, they live in Abuja and we live in Ibadan. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, always come to Ibadan, even more than my sister. Anytime he's going to Lagos for official duty, he will stop in Ibadan. He will sleep in the house. The relationship he had with my parents at that time, he was so cordial. They will talk till midnight. So that kind of thing, seeing that kind of thing growing up, make me to believe that if you are married to a family, you are part of that family. And vice versa too. So anytime I have opportunity to go to Louisiana, I'm on the plane. I don't care if it's, even sometimes I go more than once in a year. And this guy was telling me, why did I go by my in-law? Those are kind of Nigerian belief that people need to change. Your in-laws, yeah, they are your in-law, but they are your family. There's no barrier. There shouldn't be no demarcation between you and them. Even, I won't lie to you, I've been thinking of, will it be possible for me to go to Louisiana without my wife? I pray nothing bad happen to any of us. But I've been looking for that, like, but I've never had the opportunity. But what I'm trying to say here is, a man married to a woman, or African American, you should have that good relation with the family. Because that is your family.
So to wrap things up, guys, I just want to see if we can get some words of wisdom from you to your African brothers who may be listening to this podcast, because we do have a lot of men who listen to the podcast. We know that from where they click to actually hear the podcast. They give us a breakdown in the stats on who's listening, and it's a good number of men. So do you have any words of wisdom for your African brothers who are dating or married to American women?
Is it a word of wisdom or advice? Because later it's not going to give somebody advice for free. Okay. So which one is it?
Whatever you see fit to share with your brothers.
I know you're not going to give free consultation. Better give them word of wisdom. Don't give advice.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say. Foley is hilarious. Oh my God. So okay, this is what I have to say to my African brothers. A lady friend of mine who is African American, she recently wrote to me on Facebook that she's been talking to this guy from Africa, and she seems to like this guy very much, but the guy I don't know, I don't want to say typical of African guys. This guy started asking this lady to send some money for some mining business, gold mining business. That sounds like a scam to me. And when she asked me for my opinions, I said no. I don't think some guy who has a gold mining business will be on Facebook chatting with you. You know, you're not gonna even find such a person, you know, texting you on Facebook. They're too preoccupied to be doing, you know, stuff like that. So this is what I have to say, you know, piece of advice. So I know there are, you know, real good guys, you know, out there, you know, from, you know, wherever you may be, you know, that are, you know, genuinely, truly seeking, you know, love. If you happen to meet anybody, not just, you know, Americans, anybody, you know, and you know that you're genuine, you're true to yourself, please respect yourself. Stop asking these women for money. Please. That's how you can be respected. Stop asking them for money. This is very, very un-African. You know, Africans have a lot of pride. You know, we don't do stuff like that. So if you're looking for people to scam, you can do your business. You know, I'm not an advocate of that. You know, I don't support people working in that industry. But stop asking people that you know that you truly care about or you want to date or you like. Stop asking them for money. That's my piece.
I have a similar thing to what Lekon said. Because I'm not preaching here though, and this is free. The way I look at it is this: if, like Lekon just said, I'm not a support of that industry to all this Yahoo thing, 419 thing. And one thing I will say is this: if you want to start dating, I believe strongly that you must have a fear of God. A fear of God. Because the Bible says something like, we should acknowledge Him in all our ways, and He will make our path straight. No matter what you are looking for in life as a man, if you acknowledge God and you have His fear in your heart, it will make your path straight. You don't have to go through dubious way. You don't have to. Because all these things we are talking about, there will be a day that you will leave all these things and you will face your Creator. What will you tell Him? And God doesn't take excuses. So please, Nigerian guys, if you are dating, be real. If you know you're not going to be real, just don't do it. Don't do what you know yourself, within yourself, is scam. Because these people too, they are human beings. Don't look at them like you want to be so smart on them. It's going to backfire on you one day. There's no way you will do it and you will get escape with it. So that is my own advice. The fear of God, if you have that in your mind, it will make you not to do some certain things.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for coming on here and being with us. I know a lot of people have been wondering what, you know, our husbands think, Tracy, like, all right, what's going on in the back of their minds while we're recording these podcasts, and like, just who are these guys that marry these women? So thank you guys for coming.
And I think you guys should, you know, kind of separate or, you know, share some clarity on Tracy and Tracy. You know, it's because it sounds similar.
Yeah,
you know, so one is Sean Trace. That's Tracy.
But a lot of people don't know.
Tracy is Tracy.
A lot of people don't know.
Sean Trace is Tracy.
Yeah, Sean Trace is Tracy. Because that's what a lot of people know how we like Tracy. And Tracy is Tracy. I don't think I don't think it. I mean, and one thing about these two that I love is they have a lot of character that I love about them. I've seen that, and is a blessing.
We're Scorpios. And then also, Folia, you may not remember, but the very, very, very first time I spoke to you on the phone,
yeah,
you were shocked to hear my name.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's true. That was true. That was like, because me and
like
Lekon,
you said my wife is Tracy.
Yeah.
Your wife is Tracy.
Yeah. Because me and Lekon, we he's a tall guy, while I'm a short guy. But we roll it together when we were in college back then in Nigeria. So he's an opposite of me. I'm too quiet. He is so loud.
That's not true.
That's not true. Though. I'm just trying to.
I mean, you guys can tell from
Short man devil
how much we talk.
Well, nice having us. We are glad to be here, and anytime you need us, call on us. We'll let you guys know how much we charge.
I'm ready for my pounded yam, please.
Oh, gee.
All right, ladies. Well, listeners, until next time. But please be sure to follow us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher,
And SoundCloud.
Until next time. Peace
Bye.
out.
He's smart.